Have you ever put on headphones, closed your eyes, and suddenly felt like you were floating outside your body? Me either. If you have, either you're a meditation master or you know all about the gateway tapes. Welcome back to Don't Quote Me, It's Probably Nothing, the podcast where we dive into weird, wild, and wonderful conspiracies, mysteries, and all-around mind benders. I'm Kelly, the voice in the void. I just wanted to whisper that. For today's episode, we are talking about one of the government's strangest flexes from the 80s, a bizarre brain hacking technique that sounds like it was ripped straight from a sci-fi movie. The CIA's secret project, that isn't too much of a secret anymore, that promised to train your brain to enter altered states of consciousness using nothing but cassette tapes. Yeah, you heard me right. Cassette tapes. So get ready for some serious vibes. We're talking brainwave frequencies, weird-ass audio, guided meditations, and the possibility of astral projection. The CIA document is so confusing, it makes Stranger Things look like a documentary. So first, let's get some context because the Gateway Experience is not your average self-help meditation program. This is the CIA in the 80s, dipping its toes into what basically sounds like cosmic brain hacking. The whole thing started with a dude named Robert Monroe. He was your average middle-of-the-road radio executive who started experiencing something that would flip his entire world upside down. Spontaneous out-of-body experiences. Like, one morning he's having his morning coffee, and the next he's floating above his own body like, wait, am I a ghost? Instead of running around and screaming, which I totally would have done, he was curious. Like, he wasn't content with just being a human balloon. He wanted to understand these experiences, and so began his journey into the unknown. You have no idea how hard it was for me not to sing that part. Fast forward a bit, and Monroe wrote a trilogy of books about his adventures outside the body. The first one, Journeys Out of the Body, is like his memoir meets sci-fi thriller, packed with tales of astral travel, mind-bending landscapes, and encounters that sound like they belong in the Twilight Zone. These books became cult classics in the world of metaphysical and paranormal enthusiasts. But he didn't stop at writing. He founded the Monroe Institute, which is basically a brainwave playground where people could come to learn how to leave their bodies behind without freaking out the neighbors. The Institute's claim to fame was developing the hemisync technology, which uses binaural beats? Binaural beats? I think that's how you pronounce it. Binaural beats? Anyway, those hypnotic, slightly off-kilter sounds to sync up your brain hemispheres and help you enter altered states of consciousness. And here's a fun twist. This very technology caught the eye of the CIA, who thought, hey, what if we could turn soldiers into Jedi mind travelers? So yeah, Robert Monroe went from radio guy to pioneer of mind hacking, all because his brain decided to go on a joyride without permission. Like, if you ever wanted to ghost your own body on purpose, he is your guy. Alright, time to get a little sciencey, but don't worry. We're keeping it as chill as your favorite right... I almost said, your right snack. Oh, shit. My favorite late night snack is probably like Golden Grams for sure. With Lucky Charms and Cocoa Puffs. The whole Gateway Experience thing hinges on this idea that your brainwaves are like a radio tuning into different stations. Some are smooth jazz, some are heavy metal, and some are that weird podcast you swear you didn't mean to listen to. Like this one. Your brain operates at different frequencies called brainwave states, and I'll explain those real quick. So first is beta waves. This is your default setting. You're awake, alert, and probably overthinking that email you sent yesterday. For me, I'm always overthinking something I did like 10 years ago. Next, there is alpha waves, and this is the relaxed station. You're calm, maybe daydreaming, or just chilling with a nice cup of tea under a blanket watching Halloween movies. I feel like I'm always in the alpha waves. Well, not in the alpha waves. My brain's in the alpha. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say? So next is the theta waves, and that's where it gets a little trippy. So this is deep meditation, or the borderline between awake and asleep. The place where dreams creep in, and sometimes where Monroe says your soul takes a little bit of a field trip. Side note, does anyone else hear like a bunch of voices talking to you while you're in this state? No? Just me? Moving on. Last, we have delta waves. This is deep, deep sleep. Like you're out cold and snoring so loud, the dog's judging you. The gateway experience aims to use this special audio tech, which, as I mentioned before, is called hemisync. Hemisync. And it's basically two slightly different tones sent to each ear that make your left and right brain hemispheres sync up. So like when your brain hemispheres sync, supposedly you unlock a new level of consciousness, kind of like finding a hidden menu in your brain software. Syncing your hemispheres might help you tap into altered states where you can have out-of-body experiences, access hidden memories, or maybe just get really, really good at napping. If you've ever used those binaural beat apps, or like binaural beats is what I meant to say, or heard about like brainwave entertainment, this is like the granddaddy of that idea. The granddaddy. That was my southern accent, by the way. But yeah. So your brain is basically a radio, and the gateway tapes are trying to get you to tune into the universe's secret station. Let's talk about the CIA's official analysis of the gateway process. This is the part where it goes from cool brainwave tech to, wait, did I just read a physics textbook written by a sci-fi fan? Because yes, you did. The report is 29 pages long and was written in 1983 by Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonnell. I think it's Colonel, right? Not Colonel. You know, it's spelled Colonel, but I think of like KFC and they're like, check with the Colonel. Actually, I don't even think that's KFC. I don't know what that is. But anyway, so the report is 29 pages long. It was written in 1983 by Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonnell, who basically took Monroe's hippy-dippy brainwave tapes and tried to figure out if they were legit or just some like high-level woo-woo. Which, side note, do you guys remember the wrestler? Like, I don't remember his name, but he would come out and right before his song would play, it would go woo-woo-woo. I forget who it was, but for years I would just like randomly say that throughout my day, which I'm probably going to be doing for like the next month and a half now. Anyway, so the CIA doc proposes that human consciousness isn't just sitting in your brain like a little control center. Instead, it's more like a hologram, like a 3D projection that's distributed across your entire brain and maybe even beyond your body. So your self is less of a fixed thing and more of a light show that can pop in and out. Hold on to your tinfoil hats. Hold on to your tinfoil hats, though, because the report also suggests that the universe itself might be a hologram. Like, reality could be one giant cosmic projection, and what we experience as solid is just the projection's light and shadow. So basically, we might be like living inside of a giant cosmic IMAX. The report also says that time is not real. According to this mindbender, linear time, the past, present, and future marching in a straight line is just an illusion. The CIA paper says that time is more like a loop or dimension that can be bent, folded, or skipped over, which, if true, means your brain might be able to jump to a different point in time, like in a Netflix episode. Now, out-of-body experiences, astral projection, remote viewing, they're all legit possibilities, and the report takes these seriously. It suggests that by syncing your brain hemispheres, you can literally send your consciousness outside your physical body. So Monroe's floating apartment tours? Yes, the CIA considered that real enough to study. The document also talks about an all-encompassing energy source called the Absolute. Think of it as the cosmic Wi-Fi that connects everything. By accessing this absolute through altered states, you can tap into unlimited energy and knowledge. This is where things get geometric. Like, literally. The brain is described as an energy pattern shaped like a torus, which I don't even know what shape that is. Oh, well, I'm going to explain it. Which is basically a donut-shaped energy field. I'm so stupid. I wrote this. Dumbass. This shape supposedly helps energy flow in and out of your system, a bit like a cosmic energy donut hole. Or a glazed munchkin. Anyway, the last thing I want to highlight is the click-out phase. This is a term the report uses to describe moments when your consciousness detaches from physical reality, like clicking out of your physical body into a different state of awareness. It's the gateway process's version of beam me up, Scotty. I really need to start doing these with people because I'm tired of laughing by myself. Also, fun fact, for the longest time, page 25 of this report was missing from official copies floating around online And people speculated like all kinds of conspiracy theories. Like maybe it had the recipe for alien technology, or I don't know, some secret like tea stash. I don't know. But no, it was eventually found and added back in, much to the disappointment of the tinfoil hat crowd. So yeah, the CIA didn't just study these papers as a joke. They seriously considered that our brains might be able to access higher dimensions, hack time, and project consciousness out like some psychic superhero. It's like the military's version of Doctor Strange training camp. All right, so now that we've peeked inside the CIA's brain-bending report, let's talk about the real star of the show, the Gateway tapes themselves. These aren't your grandma's relaxation tapes of like Kenny G or something. These were carefully crafted audio sessions designed to train your brain to unlock those altered states of consciousness that we just talked about. The tapes were originally on good old-fashioned cassette. You know, those magnetic strips that made you rewind and pray they didn't get chewed up by the player? I love those. That's how I used to record my music off the radio. There were over 40 tapes in total, divided into different waves or levels, each designed to take you deeper and deeper into your own mind's cosmic playground. They mixed together several elements: binaural beats and hemisync audio, the weird hypnotic sounds that make your brain hemispheres dance together, guided meditations, which is voice leading you through breathing exercises and visualization visualization. That is such a fucking hard word to read, like when my brain's not even functioning at its top capacity. Is that how I would word that? Visualization techniques. There we go. Often with a calm, soothing tone. And then there's affirmations, little positive nudges for your subconscious, like, I am relaxed. I'm in control. I love mozzarella sticks. And other ambient sounds. So like sometimes spacey drones, sometimes nature sounds, and sometimes just straight up strange tones that might make you wonder if you accidentally tuned into an alien radio station. I'm actually going to play a few seconds of one of these for you because you can literally find them on YouTube.
This is the first step along your path to a gateway beyond which is discovery, your own discovery of reality, of truth, of who and what you are.
Okay, so what you just heard was the first few seconds of Wave 1. The training is broken down into waves 1 through 6, with each wave introducing new techniques and deeper brain state. Wave 1 is where you learn to relax and focus your mind, getting familiar with the hemisync sounds. By the time you reach Wave 6, you're supposed to be mastering the art of out-of-body experience, expanded awareness, and even time manipulation. There are some people who reported like all kinds of wild experiences while listening. Lucid dreams where they knew they were dreaming, sensations of floating outside their physical bodies, moments where time seemed to slow down or speed up, and even feelings of cosmic oneness, like you're hugging the universe minus the awkwardness of actually hugging, because ew. What's wild is that the tapes still have like a cult following. Some swear by them as tools for spiritual growth or relaxation, while others just use them to get really good naps. I think I said that earlier, something about naps. Either way, it's clear these tapes have had a strange and lasting impact. Now, I'm going to go off the beaten path into the shadowy side streets with the juicy conspiracy stuff. Wild connections and the stuff your tinfoil hat probably knows nothing about. If you ever heard of Project Stargate, this is where things get interesting. Stargate was the government's super secret program exploring remote viewing, basically spying with your mind. And guess what? The Gateway process and Stargate had some serious overlap. They both dealt with training consciousness to leave the physical body and collect intel from afar. So some folks think Gateway was the spiritual sibling of these psychic spy programs, like the CIA's version of an X-Men training camp. Now, if you're feeling extra spicy, some conspiracy circles link Gateway to MK-Ultra, which was the famous CIA mind control experiments from the 50s and 60s. While there's no direct proof that Gateway was MK-Ultra 2.0, both projects do share a theme: hacking the human mind using weird tech in altered states. So it's easy to imagine some crossover in the let's mess with brains department. Then there are whispers about connections to Area 51, the Montauk Project, and even Montana megastructures. All these supposed secret government projects dealing with weird science, time travel, and psychic experiments. One more mystical note. The Gateway process shares surprising similarities with ancient spiritual traditions. Ever heard of Samadhi, That's the state of deep meditative absorption in Hindu and Buddhist practices, kind of like hitting the cosmic pause button. The idea of accessing an all-encompassing field of knowledge or energy also echoes the concept of the Akashic Records, a metaphysical library of all human events, thoughts, and emotions. So the gateway process isn't just sci-fi, it's tapping into ideas humans have chased for thousands of years. Here's the million-dollar question. Did the military ever weaponize this stuff? Some say yes, that they hope to create psychic spies, super soldiers, or even mind-controlled assassins. Others think it was shelved because it was just too weird to control or predict. Like, imagine trying to put a leash on your consciousness. Like, I don't think it works that way, my guy. The Gateway experience had a major TikTok moment around 2021 when, like, thousands of users were posting videos about how they were using these old CIA-approved tapes to astral project and manifest their dreams. People shared everything from, like, creepy stories about ghostly encounters to tips on how to fall asleep faster. It also tied closely to the communities around law of attraction. If you ever dabbled in, like, visualize your dream life or hack your subconscious, there's a good chance that the Gateway tapes have influenced those practices, even if people don't realize it. And of course, they have become a bit of a meme goldmine. There's jokes like, I listened to Wave 1 and now I'm on Saturn. It's kind of funny. Just picturing someone like listening to their headphones and then they're just in outer space standing on a planet. Or there's just use the Gateway tapes to skip Monday. I don't know why I do these voices. I'm so weird. So since you guys seem to like when I read the Reddit stories last week, and by that I mean like 2 people told me they liked it, I'm going to read a few that I came across that I thought were interesting. The first one was actually posted 2 days ago by username The Fuck You Mean. I love that. Love that. It's spelled DAFUQ, the letter U, and then MEANN. Like, the fuck you mean? Yes. Okay. So it says, I astral projected for the second time. Vision was grainy and almost like night vision. I looked to my left and there was the cat that I used to babysit and it ran off. He died a few months ago. I also floated away across the street to the neighbor's house. Something told me, get the fuck out before I shoot you. So I left and I go gallivanting. Then I run into this figure telling me to get back into my body. So I went back in and woke up. Cool experience. I mean, that's super weird, but like, what if he was astral projecting and he was like in his neighbor's dream and the neighbor was dreaming that the kid across the street broke into his house? Because I don't know, kind of feel like that's what happened. Anyway, this next one is from Standard Front 7922. I learned about astral projection last year and kept it in my mind. I heard some bad stories and never actively tried to project. In May, I woke up early and went for a run, and came back home and fell asleep. In my dream, I was floating above the street where I currently live, and cats below me were running away. I thought I was lucid dreaming, so I said out loud that I want to see my future children. I see children a lot in my dreams, but they're rarely mine. I also have no children in real life. I kept floating down the street, and 2 girls around age 15 to 22 were sitting in their front yard. They heard me and looked at each other, then told me to come over. They said they will let me see my future kids, but I can't look at their faces. I said okay, and she brought me out 2 girls ages 8 or 11. They both had curly brown hair like my mom, and they were wearing plain white and tan dresses. They ran up to me and hugged me and said I had been gone longer than normal. All 3 of us laid on the grass and just hugged while the other 2 girls were still talking to each other on the porch. The older girl from before came up to us and said I have to leave at 5:30. I checked my watch and it said 4:45. Then I woke up in starfish position in my bed, which is the main reason why I thought this may have been more than a dream. I was sweaty and exhausted, and my cat, who rarely cuddles with me, was under my blanket and sleeping on top of me. In real life, I woke up at 10:30 a.m. My daughters felt so real. I have been trying to astral project again to talk to my daughters, but I keep lucid dreaming or just falling asleep. Well, Standard Front 7922, I hope that you get to meet your future daughters in this timeline sometime soon. Okay, this last one is from Spiritual Vegan Life. I kind of love that name too. It's a long one and it's titled, I Astral Projected with My Boyfriend. Okay, before I get into this crazy story, I wanted to share some background information. This is the girl speaking, by the way. I'm reading what she wrote. It's not me doing like a commercial or anything. I've always been super into spirituality, as my ex-boyfriend's mom was a spiritual advisor and introduced me to things like meditation, holistic and energy healing, astral projection, Reiki, and other things. I've astral projected around 4 times, but never had full control of it. It happened super randomly, spontaneously, as I've never tried to astral project and couldn't really control myself fully in the astral world. My current boyfriend and I started dating around a year ago. We were both very open-minded people. He's big on psychedelics. I had personally never done them, but loved conversation around them, loved meditation and spirituality. We've talked about astral projection several times, and he's always wanted to be able to do it. I've told him my stories of astral projection, and he's researched it a good amount and was always really into it, but never fully reached the astral state. A couple of days ago, we had only gotten around 5 hours of sleep because we had to wake up super early for a doctor's appointment. Once the appointment was over and we got back to the apartment, we took a nap as we were really exhausted. As soon as I fell asleep, I knew I was entering the astral plane. My body was vibrating, I felt myself leave my body, and boom, I was in the astral. I'm suddenly in the apartment where we already were, except there's 2 girls sitting on the couch. I cannot remember their faces, what we spoke about, or who they were, but I remember telling my boyfriend to go grab them blankets from upstairs so they can sleep on the bed and we would sleep on the couch. It seemed like they were visitors of ours. He proceeds to go upstairs to grab the blankets. Keep in mind, the actual apartment doesn't have an upstairs, so maybe this was a parallel universe. For some reason, even though I could not see who was up there, I knew there was a manly presence. A man that possibly lived upstairs. Once he went upstairs, he didn't come back down for a while, and I remember just being at the bottom of the stairs calling for him. I felt an overly drunk feeling where I couldn't move, speak, almost felt paralyzed. I was going back into my body. I could faintly hear my boyfriend calling my name, and as I was trying to call his too, my vocal cords felt paralyzed, and so did my body. When I was finally able to move and heard my boyfriend repeatedly call my name, I turned over right away. He immediately told me he had just astral projected and he knew he left his body. I was absolutely stunned that we both astral projected at the same time and immediately needed to share stories to see if they matched. This is his story. I fell asleep after being really, really tired and getting little sleep that night. I've always wanted to astral project and don't know what prompted it to happen on this day, but as soon as I fell asleep, I felt extremely heavy vibrations. My entire body was vibrating like crazy, and I literally felt my soul leave it. I remember being in my apartment and walking up a flight of stairs, which are non-existent in my apartment in real life, to go get something from someone. I couldn't quite remember exactly what I was getting, but I remember the male presence that I was getting it from felt evil. The vibe was horrible. I didn't even make eye contact with him. Suddenly, I literally started levitating and felt my feet lift from the floor, and it was all of a sudden right under the ceiling. I didn't know I was in the astral. I've never astral projected before. This felt and was extremely real to me. I thought I was either being possessed or abducted by aliens. In real life, because again, I didn't realize I was in the astral. I eventually came back down from levitating and went to go down the stairs, and that's when I started to wake up. I felt myself vibrating and going back into my body. This is when I started calling my girlfriend's name faintly while she was simultaneously calling mine, but we were paralyzed in the process of re-entering our bodies. I was at the top of the stairs trying to get to her, and she was at the bottom of the stairs calling my name and trying to get to me, but we couldn't reach each other and started waking up. Then, when we woke up and exchanged stories, it hit us. We were in the same place, astral projecting together at the same time. Dang, that's wild. Hashtag couple goals, though. I feel like I want to try to astral project, but I'm too afraid. I'm too afraid like something weird's going to happen. And like, what if I never come back? But also like, what if I never come back? But I do have like kind of a story. It's more about like dreams and stuff because I have weird dreams, but this one wasn't my weird dream for once. So I woke up this morning and I was looking at my phone and I had a text from my friend Christine at like 5 o'clock this morning, and I am going to read it for you. It says, get a china cabinet or corner cabinet to keep them and display them to. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about, so I just ignored her, and then she sent me a message like hours later and said that she had a dream that I was Belle from Beauty and the Beast, which is not a dream because I'm Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Just kidding. She dreamt that I had all of this like really pretty china and dinnerware stuff, and it was like pearl and red and just beautiful, and she was telling me in her dream to get a cabinet for them, but somehow she texted it to me. But like, what if she told me in her dream but it texted to my phone? That's some weird shit. But if you want to try the gateway tapes yourself, they are on YouTube. But hit me up with your stories because maybe your experience will make it into a future episode. That's it for today's episode of Don't Quote Me, It's Probably Nothing. Remember, whether you're tuning into cosmic frequencies or just vibing to chill beats, sometimes the best journeys start with a little mystery. Next week, we are blasting off into one of the most infamous conspiracy theories out there. Project Bluebeam, the alleged plan to fake an alien invasion using mind-blowing holograms and global mind control. Is it sci-fi or something even stranger? I'll break it all down and you definitely won't want to miss it. But for now, sit back, relax, and let Nervous Nikki and the Chill Pills take you on a ride with their track, Nerves of Glass. It's a total vibe, and I have been obsessed with this song all week and probably since I heard it. Go be nice to people for no reason, and go be amazing.
I'm slipping sideways in my car, my foot took it too far. I'ma need a tow and I could use a ride. I'm sorry, Mom, I'll grow up sometime. I'll be just fine. Just fine. Drop dead, don't know when. Roll the dice, place your bet. Pick your poison, take a seat. I mean no harm, I'm just a creep. Is it good or is it bad? Like it, fancy, I'd like to think that this bad. This time would make me shrug it off, let it swell. No matter what, give them hell, give them hell, give them whoa. Tripping over my words, stuttering must be my nerves class, yeah. Ridicule explainers, they're in, they're good. I'm wishing that I did what the pretty girls could. Oh, no. Smoking mirrors, buggy clouds, can't be sold, must be trash. Misfit, scrape knee, deep down, proud to be. Is it good or is it bad? Like it, well, see, I'd like to think that it's bad. But say what made me. I used to think that I was cursed, but I'm wrong past. But I'm here to give 'em hell, here to give 'em hell. Big smile, broken glass, what you said, take it back. Crickets sing, bubbles crack, between the lines, I'm scared to ask. Eyes that you could fall into, find me now,